Hi, my name is Alex. I'm a data storyteller at a company called Storytelling with Data, and I focus exclusively on how to help people communicate more effectively with their data in an engaging way. One of the things that's pretty exciting about data storytelling is that it's starting to reach its peak. It's a relatively new field that maybe started about a decade ago, data visualization in and of itself, but a lot more people are becoming aware of the importance of communicating data. And I think what happened is we reached this bubble where everybody has data on everything. And it got really exciting, but now we're at the point that we're realizing just because we have the data doesn't really mean anything's happened, or we understand how to use it, or we know how to analyze it and communicate. And so now there's becoming quite a bit of pressure to be able to communicate effectively. And I think as more people learn how to communicate effectively, and as more people on the receiving end up their knowledge of data and graphs, we're going to see a really big explosion in how many more insights we can get. Not everyone needs to become a statistician, but everyone, in my opinion, does need a base level of understanding of data so that they can become responsible consumers of information. If you look anywhere, whether it's social media, whether it's the news, could be a magazine, a book, a movie, data is shared, right? Data is just information. And if you're not careful, you could easily come to conclusions that aren't accurate. Maybe it's a chart that wasn't represented correctly, or maybe you didn't know how to read it. And so it's important now that data is being used everywhere and we have supporting evidence, just to be able to accurately interpret what's being put in front of you and then make a thoughtful decision about whether or not you believe it, you don't believe it, you want to act in a certain way or not. So just to become a responsible consumer of information in this new age of information. So my background has always been in the data world. I had an interest in this even in college. My major was actually in statistics. My master's was in statistics as well. And I always thought that analyzing data was what I wanted to do. Now, it wasn't until I worked in companies that I realized that the analytical process is much bigger than just analyzing data with statistics. And I started to realize the value of having good data to run in my statistical models. But I didn't have the skill set to be able to do that. So I transitioned my career into data infrastructure, where I could help a company start to collect their data and store their data in an accessible way. Now, after learning that skill set and being able to analyze my data, I realized that I still had a gap in my knowledge, which was the ability to communicate data. And that's where I started to really find an interest and a passion for the fact that I could spend all of this time gathering data, I could spend all of this time doing a thorough analysis, but if I couldn't communicate it well, it just didn't matter. And so I realized that that communication piece is the make or break moment. It's what determines success, and it's usually the only part of an analysis that anyone else is ever going to see. One of the things that I've learned, especially as I've started my own career here, is that not necessarily all of the things that I learned in school are exactly going to translate to what I do in the day-to-day. Probably the biggest benefit that I gained, and that I'm glad that I learned how to do by studying math, was just the ability to learn how to learn and how to ask questions and solve problems. And that level of critical thinking has helped me break into new industries, learn new skills independently. And in this age where there's always new tools, there's always new technologies, and things are rapidly changing, the ability to know how to learn how to use something new and to have the confidence to be able to build my own skill set will certainly carry me forward as everything I know is beginning to change.